celebrities. I like cats.
Well, you're a cat and a celebrity, so perfect for it.
I have a cat, and you do. And
no, you are a cat.
I didn't quite fit in the box, coming from a council estate in Essex, in Basildon, with a drunk mum and no dad. I sort of beat all the odds, really, when I met Leee Childers. Smutty's an alter ego. Smutty's Ziggy Stardust. I created Smutty Smiff with Leee.
So Leee created you playing the bass. There's something very sexy about a big bass, I think.
Yeah, I fuck mine a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, I lay on top of it and fuck it. Wanda Jackson saw me doing that once, and she was standing on the side of the stage and she walked off.
So, I'd like to welcome all of you to Cats and Other Celebrities, and my guest this episode is Smutty Smiff, rocker extraordinaire.
Oh, very kind of you. It's Smith with 2 Fs, actually.
Smith.
I hated the way Americans pronounced it when I was 19, Merv Griffin show. He said, Smutty Smiff. So I said, I'm not having that. I changed it to Smith. So then he had to say Smith.
So I got telling me that Stephen Smith or Smith was coming on my show. And I thought, no, Smutty's coming on then.
Yeah.
And then I realised you and Stephen were the same person. So
I think you and my mum are the only person that know that.
Well.
Maybe Linda.
And I should fess up, I do know you. We've almost crossed paths.
Well,
but
many times. Many times.
We have things in common.
We do.
And
I've got a cat, and my shop's called Wildcat, and I love cats.
And your band was the Rock Cats.
I just got a new cat, actually, refreshed.
A new cat. A new
That's the original Rock Cats logo by Bob Roberts, 1980, on Melrose.
Nice.
I designed it, and he said he wasn't going to put it on anyone, and 10 years later, it's on about 1,000 people.
And you've met them all?
They come up to me at gigs sometimes. They go, hey, you Smutty, I got your tattoo. And I'm like, never trust a tattooist, basically.
No, never.
Because they say they won't put it on someone, and I designed it, but now it's a sticker in Japan,
So it's on everyone.
I think
Lots of Japanese people.
There's no copyright laws there.
But I didn't know that you were Stephen.
We do.
I do now.
You do. And my middle name is?
Don't know.
Dennis.
Oh, yeah, I think I did.
Dennis the Menace.
Yes, because you're quite menaced.
I've got a black and red jumper I wear just to go out to be that Dennis the Menace sometimes.
Of course.
But I don't have the dog Nasha. I have the cat Princess Leigh.
So I didn't know that your cat was called Princess Leigh.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you were a big Star Wars fan. I didn't know that.
Fucking mental for Star Wars, and I'm mental for cats. But she is a very funny cat. We didn't get her for a breeder, but she was when we went to pick them up. There was about 8 of them. She was already beating the other ones up, and where they were sleeping and knocking them about. And she was very feisty, and she was meowing the most.
She's a feisty cat.
So yeah, but then now she's very mellow. But when she was in the litter box, the cat box with the other cats. We took her, and they said we couldn't have her for 12 weeks. And then we got her, and then we got all the shots and put the chip in her and did all that. And she's not an outdoor cat because we live on a pretty main road. But she loves to go out on the balcony and just look at the birds. And she climbs a lot now. She never used to climb. Now I see her sometimes. I can't see her, and she's up on top of a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah, Roger used to climb.
I don't know how to get up there.
Don't know. Now that dreadful ginger cat of mine climbs everywhere, jumps out of the window, but it's dreadful.
Well, I think all cats are different, to be honest. I mean, I'm a cat, and you're a cat, and I'm different, and you're different. So, I think
but
cats.
Roger is quite.
One of your cats is a bit of a bully, though, isn't it?
Oh, that one died.
Oh, the bully died?
Yes, the black one, the big black one.
He was quite a bully, that one. I used to feel bad for the other cat because he would, bite him on the neck and hold him down, and a bit of a bully, wasn't he?
That one died, yeah.
Well, he's better off. And so are we.
So are we. And somebody said to me, and there's Mr. up there. And I went, oh no, Mr's not up there. He's down there.
Oh.
I know. But Roger wouldn't speak to me for a month after Mr. died because he blamed me for it.
When I go away for a month because I have the shop, with next door to Linda B in Alfie's, and I'm very close to my cat, and she used to always want to sit on me, but when I come home now, she snubs me, and it takes about 3 days till she'll come to
Because
me.
she hates you for going away.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
when I come home, Kate, she sits on Kate and Vincent, my boys love her, but when I come home, I go, Leia, and she just gives me this look and walks by me and shows me her bum.
No.
Tail in the air,
Tail in the air. Show it like it's not there.
Yeah, I'm like, is she
Yeah.
coming in the room or out?
Horrible. So she's a princess. Is she a princess?
Yes, she's quite, I wouldn't say high maintenance, but, we tried her on wet food she didn't like. And it turns out that she likes dried food, but only very weird stuff. Like she likes dried pieces of cod. She'll like rip open the bag and hide it under the bed and rip it apart. Because in Iceland, instead of having beef jerky, because I live in Iceland, they have dried fish, cod, which is almost like the American beef jerky, but it's fish. She goes mental for that. And she likes dried chicken and dried duck and little tiny baby shrimps dried. But she drinks a lot of water, but she doesn't really like wet food. She wouldn't eat. I mean, Whiskers is just like all sugar, and what cat wouldn't eat it? But I've given her Whiskers. She just goes up and smells it, licks it, and walks away.
Licks the sugar off it.
Probably, I don't know if there's sugar. There must be
But
sugar on it.
my cats don't like Whiskers much.
Well, Whiskers is not really the best of cat foods, is it? We shouldn't knock Whiskers. We're not knocking Whiskers. We're just saying, theoretically.
Theoretically, my cat. Well, one of them loves chicken, and the other loves fish.
Oh, Kate's got a new thing that the cat loves. She buys just because cod is all so plentiful in Iceland. It's cheap. One of the only things that's cheap. She buys a big piece of cod and she boils it, lets it all cool down, and she puts nothing in it. And she eats when it goes cold, just boiled cod.
Ew.
Well, that's what most Icelandics eat.
Then they're just fucking cat bunkers.
Well, Iceland didn't have, a lot going on when they got there. There was no people living there, and the only people sent there was criminals, Vikings, and murderers and rapists from Norway and Sweden and Denmark.
And people who like fish.
Yeah, I mean, it only started out with a few thousand, and it was in the middle of nowhere. They found it by taking, in a fog storm, they made a wrong turn at Greenland, I guess,
They made a wrong turn. That's Iceland.
That's how they found it, yeah.
But they have a lot of cats and a lot of fish.
3 kinds of fish in Iceland. You can't have exotic pets. There's no snakes in Iceland, mosquitoes, or very small spiders. Very few different kinds of birds. Only birds. We do get migratory birds from Africa and stuff like that. We have eagles and owls, but no predators, just mink and fox and reindeer. Fish in the rivers, and I fly fish, as you know. I'm a mad fisherman. There's only 3 fish you can catch in Iceland in the rivers.
And they are?
Salmon, Arctic char, which is a type of salmon, better tasting, and brown trout. Nothing else.
But with cod?
Oh, cod all day long. You can catch them 5 minutes from my house till your arms fall off.
Lots of cod.
And pollock, and sole, and Dover sole, and lemon sole, and coalfish. The harbours are clean. There's no pollution in Iceland. Zero.
Iceland is the place for fish, but not necessarily. I had a cat before Roger, Catlin. She was a swimming cat. She was a Turkish cat, white with ginger eyes, ginger ears, and ginger patch. But she thought she was a duchess, poor thing.
Oh.
And she would only eat chicken, but she liked Asian chicken. So the Chinese place gave her chicken, leftover chicken.
Oh.
And she loved that.
Yeah, my cat's getting a bit fussy. I think she's about 3 now. But she's never... Well, we did have one big scare. When we got her fixed, she was so little. She used to get out the window and go on the balcony because, a little bit of air.
Yeah.
But we lived 1 flight up. So when we got... She was only a month, I think fixed at 3 months. 3 months when she got her first thing, heat. And we couldn't find her or see her.
So she was very advanced to have that at 3
Yeah,
months.
but we lost her once. She fell off the balcony
God.
after her surgery. And so the kids were really upset. And I went down in the night and I couldn't find her. And we couldn't find her. She wasn't in the house. But the next morning, I went all around the house and I could suddenly just hear this tiny little meow. And she'd fell off the balcony.
And it was the Princess Leigh.
And she'd gone under these logs and she was just there. But we took her into the vets and she broke nothing. But it was a bit scary.
Very scary.
Because she was out, and if she'd gone in the road, she would have been gone like that, you know.
So she jumped off the balcony?
Fell.
Fell.
Yeah, because she just had surgery.
Oh, horrible. And she thought, oh, these people just take me for more surgery.
Yeah, she wanted some fresh air, and she went out and fell off the balcony. We have a nice little balcony. We have a garden. We have a nice little view. We're 1 story high.
And where's your garden in the balcony?
No, we have a barbecue and a little mini garden in the balcony with just herbs. But we have an actual back garden that us and the neighbours share. But Kate's brother lives downstairs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So his kids, my wife's family live downstairs, and we live on the next floor.
I didn't know that.
And we bought it about 3 years ago.
So how is Kate?
Kate is doing very well. She's back on her feet. She has a fibrosic tumour of some kind, non-benign, where she has to have some pretty big surgery.
Yeah,
well, you know that surgery that girls have to get, but you can't have babies anymore thing.
Yeah.
That one.
That one. Horrible.
Yeah, but, you know, she needs to have it taken out. This lump is getting quite big.
So it has to go. And how are your sons?
Vincent's typical weightlifter, you know, fucking Chuck Norris on steroids, goes to the gym 7 days a week. He would go more if there was more days in the week. He's a teenager, you know, he's a bit aggressive and a bit can be, but he's got a good heart and he's a good person. And Charlie, my youngest, is 14. He has OCD and a few other things, but he's also the cleverest kid in his class, maybe his school. I mean, I took Charlie to the Natural History Museum 2 years ago, and he named all the dinosaurs in Latin.
Wow.
He was 12.
Wow.
He's very, very advanced. He can read 400-page English books in 2 days, and he can build a 3,000-piece Lego set in 1.5 days.
3,000 Legos.
Eiffel Tower, whatever, how big it is. I get it on Christmas Day. It's done on Boxing Day.
Wow.
It says 3 to 5 days on it.
But he's super fast because he's super smart.
Yeah, which makes him, you know, not like his dad. You know, he doesn't quite fit in the box at school, and he doesn't quite fit in the box. Like, I didn't quite fit in the box, you know, coming from a council estate in Essex, in Basildon, with a drunk mum and no dad. I sort of beat all the odds, really, when I met Leee Childers. Slightly. My odds of me ending up meeting Andy Warhol and being photographed by Mapplethorpe were probably about 1,000,000 to 1, I think.
But you think the first odds were about leaving the school behind?
I think Levi Dexter, the original singer of Levi and the Rockettes, who I'd met I couldn't get in the Teddy Boy clubs. I was too young, and I looked younger than I was. I was late in puberty. I used to put a little bit of mascara on my bum fluff to make it look like I maybe had slight of a moustache. Even though I looked 14, I looked about 10 probably. So I met Levi Dexter, and Levi moved in, and then Levi used to get up and sing, and then one day he moved out of my house. He moved from Southend to Basildon. I missed my last train. Long story short, we went back and played records, and he met this guy at this Shakin' Stevens gig with Screen on the Green or somewhere, and it happens to be Leee Black Childers, who was previously David Bowie's tour manager, Iggy Pop's, Motley Crue, Andy Warhols, stage manager for Pork, and was now on the Sex Pistols Anarchy tour with his band Johnny Thunders and Heartbreakers. And so Levi wanted to get up and sing with Shakin' Stevens, and Shakin' said, "No, not tonight, Levi." And then Leigh spotted him. Leigh was very gay, sort of a cross between Quentin Crisp and Truman Capote with a bit of Betty Davis thrown in.
Wow.
But in a blue sharkskin suit with a quiff. And very well spoken.
Yes.
He went back. Shakin' Stevens was on the same label as Track Records, that owned by The Who, and Johnny Thunders was on the same label. So Leigh went up to Levi and said, "Hey there, Levi, you want to sing with these boys?" And he said, "Well, yeah, but he won't let me." I'll take care of that. He went back. He said, Shaky, this boy's going to get up and do a few songs, okay? Is that all right? He said, well, Leee, because, Leee was already been on the Anarchy tour, hanging out with Malcolm, Vivian.
Yeah.
And he let him get up and sing. And then he said, come to my office in Carnaby Street. And Levi went and did like this whole fucking Southern preacher thing on the future of music was going to be punk and neo-rockabilly. And Levi and the Rockettes was formed based on that, about being the first neo-rockabilly band in 1977. And Leee said to me, Leee came and met with me in a Teddy Boy Club and said, you must be Smutty. You're gorgeous. You're fantastic. Do you want to be in this band with your friend? I said, what do you do, Smutty? And I said, well, I'm a French polisher on Hackney Road. He said, what's that?
Exactly, what's that?
And I told him, and he said, well,
what is it?
It's restoring antiques and furniture.
Oh.
I worked for a Jewish company called Simons & Simons on Hackney Road in 75, 76. And Leee said, do you want to play bass or drums? I said, bass. He said, good, because you have our next gig in 6 weeks at the Royal College of Art with Steel Pulse, and then you're playing with Susie and the Banshees and Adam and the Ants at the Music Machine on Boxing Day. So you better learn fast. So I painted the notes on the bass with nail polish, and I took a few lessons. And then I told my mum I was moving out. She was very upset. But I think for me, Basildon was such a shithole. It was one of those new towns built post-war, Harlow, Stevenage, Basildon. And basically for me, joining the band, even though I had no musical experience whatsoever, it was my ticket out, wasn't it?
But your mum, you never really left her because you always were very close to her.
I wasn't then.
Oh, you weren't then?
My mum was a chronic alcoholic.
But when she gave up...
An angry drunk.
When she became less drunk and less angry.
Became the best mum in the whole world.
Yeah. But still in Basildon.
She died in Basildon in a hospice actually in Canvey Island. My mum, I think my mum definitely made up for all how we were raised. I had one pair of trousers and one pair of socks and one pair of shoes. And my dad fucked off when I was 7. He was very violent. He was a market trader. And I tracked him down when my daughter was born many years ago. His name's Dennis Ernest Smith, and he lives in Rye in Peace Marsh, East Sussex, next door to Paul McCartney. And his son was a Queen's Guard, my brother that I didn't know I had, and half-brother. And
no, he's more than half, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's like he's your father's son. So what does that make him a half-brother?
No, because he wasn't my real father's son. He was adopted. So, but he's still a half-brother, I guess. Okay. And then I, in the last 10 years, against my sister's will, and I couldn't do it till my mum died. In the last 5 years, I made peace with him and closure.
Good. With
my dad, my real dad,
the real dad,
my real dad, who I never knew as a child.
Oh God!
I didn't know him for 40 years.
But not the Queen's Guard.
That's my brother, Paul. I met him a few times. Nice guy. I even went back to a few weeks ago. I'm doing the middle of a film right now. I went back to my mum's house, and my mum's house was across the street from my original house with my dad in Basildon. And the lady let me in the garden, and I found this tree that my dad planted when I was little, and it was now about 20 feet. But when I was little, it was this big. But now it was a tree.
Oh, wow, that's so sweet. Mm. And did you have childhood pets?
Well, I collected snakes and newts. And, back then, we didn't have internet and we didn't have, I was an outdoor kid. I think the biggest punishment for us as kids in the 70s was, all right, Steve, you didn't eat your dinner. And you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So you're not going out. And that would be like worse than anything you could think of.
Yeah.
Because we used to go out and we used to go around the woods and I had a bird egg collection and I used to go to the ponds and I had a little tiny pond in the garden and put newts in them, frogs, but they would always just leave next day or the birds would eat them. But I was an outdoor person.
Maybe that's why you like fly fishing so much.
I got into fly fishing because I think it's very therapeutic and very relaxing.
It takes you back to those being outdoors.
I think that, and also it kind of reminds me of almost like Tai Chi, and I'm Buddhist as well. So I think when I'm fishing and I'm in the river on my own, it's a very it takes me to a very different place.
Very different
To my real, to Smutty.
Smutty.
Yeah, it's complete opposite.
Yeah.
Smutty's an alter ego. Smutty's Ziggy Stardust. I created Smutty Smiff with Leee. Leee created Smutty Smiff.
So Leee created you playing the bass, or?
Well, obviously he saw something in me that was beyond a French polisher from Basildon.
Yeah.
So I never thought I was good looking. I was very insecure. I was beat up and called a faggot and gay at school. And when I met Leee and I started wearing makeup, every gay person in New York wanted to fuck me, and most of them tried and didn't. But I was raised in gay bars and lived with drag queens, and I was hanging out with Andy Warhol when I was 18, and I met Mapplethorpe, Herring, and Warhol, and they were my friends because they were Lee's friends. I remember Andy coming up to me, and I remember one day Blondie moved out of the Loft, and we'd just got to New York, and we had a gig in 7 weeks, and we had poached a guitarist on the way in Kentucky to get to the gig, and the only reason we got him in the band is because he had a van. And we thought, well, that's Andy. His name was Guy. And I said, I'll do a quiff. And he liked Peter Townsend, who I hated.
But you pretended to like him.
Yeah, we pretended to like him. So he could get us to New York for the gig. And then we didn't have a place. And on the way to the gig, we called Tommy Dean that owned Max's Kansas City. And Leee said, darling, I've got Levi and the Rockettes. We didn't have the whole band yet. We need a place to stay. And he said, well, Debbie and Chris are moving out of Blondie Loft. They'd had their first hit. So when I landed in New York, I literally moved into Debbie, Harry, and Chris Stein's loft across from Seabees. We had Richard Lloyd living down below us, and Chris Spedding, and bands, and we still didn't have a drummer. And I remember Leee sat us all down on the bed, and I've just been taken away from my own country at a very young age, and my mum was freaking out, and Leee said, I said to Leee, we can't play Max's in 6 weeks, Leee, because one, we don't have a drummer. We have no set list. We have 4 songs in it. We played in England. We have no drummer. Dibbs is still in England. I don't have a bass in America. And how are we going to do this? And he was so positive. He just said, darlings, trust me, it will work out. Worked out.
It did, yeah. So didn't you lose a bass along the way? A bass, pretty hard thing to do.
That first bass that Leee got me,
that was lost.
I painted it pink, I painted it black, I painted it all different colours. But when Levi and the Rockettes broke up in 1980 in LA at the Whiskey on Stage, which was unbeknownst to us, still love Levi, of course, but he decided it was the last gig, and because he wanted to be more pure rockabilly, and we wanted to take it a bit further because we were hanging out with the Ramones and Suicide and Johnny Thunders and Joe Strummer and Billy Idol, and Johnny Rotten coming round our house in '77. That was unheard of.
Yeah.
Us being Teds and having Johnny Rotten in our kitchen.
Yeah.
So basically, I got a bass, and then the Rockettes got very big very quickly. When the New York Dolls broke up, I think, thinking back, they were the biggest unsigned band and could have been the next Rolling Stones. But when they broke up, there was a gap.
And you filled it.
They had makeup on and they played Rock and Roll Loud, and they looked like drag queens, but they weren't. And that's what the Rockettes became. The Rockettes took this look with 50s rockabilly, Elvis, and put on makeup and wore bright clothes and played music, rockabilly, but not the same way it was played. So we went from playing after the Cramps to playing 3 nights at the Ritz and opening for David Bowie in a very short space of time.
So you became a big flavour of the year.
We were flown to LA to do shows where no one had ever gone on there without a demo tape, like Wolfman Jack's show with the Jacksons and Merv Griffin. They'd never had bands that actually played live on the shows. We were watched by 22 million people without a record deal.
Well, remind me of how that bass got lost.
The bass, we done a gig one night. We done a gig with the Rockettes.
Because it's quite enormous.
Yeah, we done a gig one night. It was very cold. I think it was in New Jersey. It might have been the Peppermint Lounge in New York. I don't know. We had a roadie. He was a bit dodgy. Smoked a bit of weed. Lived in Jersey. He had a lock-up garage. All of our shit was in the van. And his story was, we never know, was he did the gig, and he stopped outside the Holland Tunnel, but it was like minus something, cold, and there was a little tiny New York hot dog place, coffee. It was 2:00, 2 or 3 in the morning. He jumped out the van. This is his story. Left the van running. Ran to the coffee stand, which was literally from this end table to the door. Turned around, got his coffee. Van was gone.
What?
The van was gone.
In that space of time?
5 seconds.
I don't know if that's
So I never got the
possible.
bass back, and we never got the equipment back. But Johnny Thunders from the New York Dolls Heartbreakers organised a lovely event for us at the Peppermint Lounge, and he guested with Waterloo and many other people. And we didn't ask for charge to get in, and we raised enough money to buy all the equipment back. Not from the person who stole it, but just so we could carry on gigging.
Replacement.
And then a year, I guess 2 years ago, I get a call from a guy in New Jersey who says, "Hey, Smutty, I follow you on Facebook and Twitter," and said, "Did you sell your bass that you used live at the Ritz, which was my first major album with Chris Blackwell?" And I said, "No, it got stolen." He goes, "Oh, I think it might be in the window of a pawn shop in Jersey City." I said, "Can you take a picture of it?" He
And
went and
was
took a
it?
picture of it. And I thought, that's my fucking bass. So I didn't know what to do at first. I thought, what do I do? So I just got the number of the pawn shop and I called up this guy, and his name was Juan. He was a Puerto Rican guy. And I said, "Can I buy, how much is the bass in the window of your shop?" And he said, "What bass?" I said, "The big one, the big black bass in the shop with the skeleton playing it." "That's not for sale. It's been in the shop since I opened." I said, "Actually, I think it might be my bass." And he said, "What? What's your name?" I said, "Smutty Smiff. I was in the Rockettes. It was stolen a long time ago, 39 years ago." And he said, "How do I know it's yours?" I said, "Well, it's got my name on it in big pink letters."
Hmm.
It's like giveaway, cunt. So, so anyway, long story short, that a guy that saw the bass was a musician. He told that story on stage in a blues bar a few nights later. And it's Ellen Stropinski, the head of the crime investigative reporter for the New York Times, went backstage afterwards and said, "Is that story you told about this guy Smutty finding his bass after 30, is that a true story?" And he said, "Yeah." And so the New York Times called me and said, "My name's Ellen Stropinski. I'm the head of the crime writers for the New York Times. We would like to, would you do an interview? Can we do an interview on this, and maybe with the guy with the pawn shop, and can you tell us about it?" So I did. And then she said they were going to, then she got back to me and said, "The editor loves this. This is like a Robin Hood story. This is fantastic. We love this story. It's like, couldn't be written any better."
It couldn't, I'm sure.
And then she said, "I'll do the interview with you. It's going to come out on this day." And I called Juan, told him what was going on. I said, "I want the bass." He said, "I want $4,000. I said, "Well, I don't have $4,000, and it's my bass." I said, "Well, when did you get it?" He said, "I don't know, 40 years ago, but I've kept it, and I want you to give me some collateral for not selling it." I thought, that's nice. And then I said to him, I told him, "There's a story in England. I'll tell you, you're not English. There's these two guys, fictional characters. One of them's called the Sheriff of Nottingham. One of them's called Robin Hood. Now, you can come out of this on either one. You could come out as the bastard sheriff, taking taxes off the poor and whipping children, or you can be Robin Hood. That's your choice. Do you still want money?" "Give me 1,000. I said, "Okay, I'll give you 1,000 to buy my own bass back." So I called my guitarist who lived in Hoboken, the next town over, and the Times came out, full page.
And he still wanted the money.
No, what happened was, by the time my guitarist got there, the Times had come out online. It was on every stand in New York, and people like U2 were calling me, and Madonna's lawyer, and all actors, all people read it and said, "We want to buy it." So I said to him, "My guitarist is on his way." When he got there, he basically said, "Take the bass, take the bass, take the bass," because 200 people had called him and emailed him, said they were going to burn his shop down.
God.
So gave him the chance, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said, "Robin Hood, Nottingham, you chose the sheriff. Wasn't my fault." Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "I did tell you. Why didn't you tell me it was going to be on the cover of the New York Times? I said, I did. He didn't believe me. I played that card and he lost. It was like a game of poker.
But you knew you had the good cards because that was your base.
It had my fucking name on it in pink letters. How could it not be?
It was yours.
Sailor
But
V.
there's something very sexy about a big bass, I think.
Yeah, I fuck mine a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, I lay on top of it and fuck it. Wanda Jackson saw me doing that once and she was standing on the side of the stage and she walked off. Tina Turner loved it. I played with Tina Turner once and I was humping the bass. I was laying on top of it, humping it. And I could see Tina looking down from the dressing room and she was just laughing.
I thought you were going to say looking down from above because she's dead.
No, I did a bunch of gigs with Tina Turner at the Ritz, and she got quite friendly. She asked me to borrow my car to use in the film that was being made about. I had this big 1959 white Cadillac. It was a limousine, and the scene where she marries Ike Turner and they go down to Mexico and he bashes her in the face with a shoe. That's in my car.
It's your car. Wow.
It was my car.
Wow. So what about other cars that you've had?
I love American cars.
Thought you might.
I love, 50s cars. I've had Rocket 88. I've had 70s Caddies. My favourite was a sort of FBI black windows, red pinstripe on the side, spoke wheels, the Lincoln Town Car.
Oh, like the Lincoln Lawyer, but better.
Oh, I like that.
Better.
I like
Very
that.
nice,
I've had a few cars. I'd bought a 73 two-door 500 cubic inch Cadillac engine, two-door, 8-cylinder, and I
Nice.
lowered it, and then I put Harley Davidson pipes on the back, and then I took the mufflers out, so when it sounded like a train coming down the street, really.
Thought it might, but that's excellent.
Well, I've always liked cars and style, and I've designed clothes since the day one. And when I was in the Rockettes, I was already, Leee would make clothes for us and, make shirts. And then, I started to do my own makeup, but just probably very similar to how David Bowie evolved, because I had heard every single David Bowie story from Leee, because Leee was with him with Ziggy. And then we used to sit around at the pool with me, Leee, Angela Bowie, and Marianne Faithfull. And we would just talk, but I was 19, and I was sitting there with Marianne Faithfull on one side of me and Angela Bowie on the other.
Beautiful.
I wasn't
Melting.
no, but because I didn't care, because I didn't really know who they were.
Oh.
I was more concerned about what girl was going to try and shag that night.
So you didn't want to shag either of them? They were too old.
I probably would have.
What about Debbie Harry? How come she and you became good friends?
She loved Leee, and still, right to the day he died. She spoke at his eulogy. We moved into Debbie's loft. 3 weeks after we got to New York, Debbie had done a video and said, "Can we get the Rockettes in the back sitting behind Clem doing the hand jive?" And we thought, that'd be fantastic. Debbie's so bloody hot. I mean, she was so hot. So they did this video at SIR or somewhere, and Clem we'd met before out, because we'd been going to clubs since the day we landed in New York. We were out every night. And so we ended up in the background. If you see, I think it's Call Me, you can see me and Levi sitting behind Clem on this scaffold doing this, sort of 1950s hand jive, yeah.
Yes. Wow. And you've remained friends ever since?
Yeah, I did a T-shirt for her, and when she came to Iceland a few years ago, she invited me to this cute thing when they played in Cuba, and I went and I talked to her, and I gave her a picture of Leee when she was wearing a bikini the week she dyed her hair blonde. I took over Leee Black Childers' estate after Leee died, because Leee had taken all these pictures of David Bowie and Lou Reed and Iggy and the Banshees and the Dolls and the Heartbreakers and just about everyone from that period. And he wasn't very good at keeping things organised. He had no manager and no agent.
And were you mates with David Bowie?
No, I can't say I was mates with Bowie, although I met him several times and I ended up playing with him. I mean, one story I remember, we were playing TR3 below Canal Street before it was Soho. Soho was only called Soho, south of Houston. We were down there in some very small club. It's like £3 to $3 to get in. Very few people, probably 70. One of our early gigs. And we were just about to go on stage, and it was a fucking dark fucking dressing room with one single light bulb and a cracked mirror, and my hairdryer just about reached the mirror, and I had my grease, and there was this bang on the door, and it was my friend Jimmy Destry. He was the keyboard player in Blondie, and he was a lovely guy, Jimmy, and I knew he was hanging out with David a little bit. He said, "Oi, Smutty, open the door." I said, "I can't. We're going on, Jimmy. We're going on now." He said, "Smutty, open the door. I've got a friend that wants to fix his hair." I said, "Well," I looked at Leee and I looked at Leee. I said, "Well, what did I do?" He said, "Well, we have to make it very quick, Jimmy. Come in, fix his hair, but we are going on now." And I opened the door. Next to him is Bowie in a red mohair jumper, red trousers, red shoes, red hair. He comes in, he goes, "All right, mate." I said, "Hello." I can't talk. It's David Bowie. And he goes, "Can I borrow your brush and your hairdryer?" And he went like, "Whoomp, whoomp, 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 whoomp." "Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks, guys. See you after. I'm going to watch the show." He was in there about 2 minutes, but he used my brush.
Have you still got the hairs, the red hairs?
Oh, no, probably not. But he fixed his hair in with my grease on my hairdryer.
That was nice.
And he was polite and nice and thanked me.
And you didn't bother to go with his missus?
No, but my drummer ended up living with Angie Bowie for a couple of years. I mean, they were going out. Yeah, Angie Bowie, Don, was in the Rockettes. He left the Rockettes in England, but he moved to America. And when he moved to America, he started his own band. He liked heavy rock. He didn't like rockabilly. And he dated Angie Bowie for quite a while, about a year. So I'd see Angie all the time.
Wow. So how did you get in the Tate and the National Gallery with Maplethorpe?
Yeah, I'm in the National Gallery in Edinburgh right now. I'm in the Tate Modern Gallery right now. I have been for quite a while, and I've been in every single Robert Mapplethorpe show that's ever shown in the world for the last 30-odd years. Well, I used to go to this club called Area and the Mud Club, Studio 54. This is a long time ago. And, because of Leee knew people, and Leee had met Mapplethorpe when he was dating Patti Smith and they were living at the Chelsea Hotel. They were kind of outsiders almost. They went to the Brooklyn School of Arts together, Patti and Robert.
Yeah.
He took pictures of Paddy with the doves and all that. And I met Robert, and he used to come and always be staring at me, and he'd have a leather jacket on. He looked kind of like a rocker, very good looking. I didn't know he was gay or cared anyway. And then we started talking one day, and he goes, "Smutty, I love your hair. What do you call that?" I said, "It's a quiff." He said, Who has that haircut? Like Elvis I said, "The Teddy Boys." He goes, "I want to be a teddy boy. I want a teddy boy haircut. Can you do that?" And I cut hair at 15 as an apprentice in Basildon. It was my first job. And I got into the teddy boy scene because I used to do the quiffs on the Teds. I was very good at it. I learned it very quickly. The boss hated me because I was better than him. But
Of course.
Robert said, "Can you come round and do my hair or teach me how to do it?" So he said, "I live on Mercer Street. I have a loft." I said, "Oh, that's weird. That's all factories down there." Because it wasn't lofts then. It was just all factories mostly. And he said, "Okay, I'm a photographer." I said, "Okay." So I went round there and I did his hair and I did a quiff. And he said, "Let's go out tonight." We went out and I remember being at the bar and there'd be like, I was with Robert on one side of me and Keith Haring and Andy Warhol was there. And I got really drunk. And I've met Andy before that. And I said to him, "Oi, Andy, come over here." And he, "Oh, Smutty, what do you want?" I said, "You never give me nothing for coming up there and me taking my shirt off when I came to the factory. Can you do something? I want to get a tattoo. Would you draw something on me?" He said, "Now?" I said, "Yeah." I said, he said, waitress brought over a pen and I rolled up my sleeve and before I had that, there was a space there and he drew a champagne glass on it with a straw sticking out of it. And he just signed his name under it. And I thought, I'll get that done, tattoo tomorrow. But I got really drunk and went to the mud club and it rained. And when I woke up, it was just a big smudge.
Oh, no.
So I told Robert that story and he laughed. And then he said, "Come round in a week, I'll take a photo of you." "Can I?" So about 2 weeks later, it's about 1979, I think, 79 or 80. I hadn't been there that long. And I got there and it was up in this loft and I noticed this big long loft and I saw this the end of the loft looked like a Mexican jail. It had torches burning outside. It had a bed with shackles on the top and the bottom and no mattress. I thought, I said, what's that? He said, that's my bedroom. I thought, okay. So he said, do you want a drink kind of thing? I said, before the photo? I said, yeah. He said, do you want to see some of my pictures? I said, well, yeah, that's very nice of you, Robert. I'd like that. And I looked at the pictures, and there was a beautiful little girl, and there was a lovely little rose. Next picture, there's a guy with his balls nailed to a piece of wood.
Fuck.
And the next picture, there's a guy with two fists sticking out of his arse. Next picture, there's, and I'm like, fuck, what did I get myself into here? I was looking around for the gimp, Someone coming out of a box with a rubber glove and a lot of lube. So I said to him when I got in, I said, and I was game. I said, Robert, do you want me naked or do you want me? He said, you got leather pants on and a leather waistcoat. He shot me a few times. I've got the pictures, about 4 times, 3 or 4. I said, no. He said, mate, I don't want any of that. And I kind of did this kind of like Heroes kind of Bowie thing. And then I did this other one where I had my hand on my hip. But back then, you have to realise, no one like me in America in rock and roll. I was the first person in rock and roll in America that I know of that had full sleeve tattoos. Before the Stray Cats, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, people thought I was either been in prison, been in the Marines, was a Hell's Angel, or I was just a freak of nature. People used to freak out when they see my tattoos. And Robert obviously liked that. And when I went out, and Andy liked that because there weren't anyone else getting in bands at that time that had tattoos. I mean, when I took Johnny Thunders after when he did the Anarchy tour, he said, Smutty, I want to get tattoos like you. And I said, okay. So I took him to Tilbury in Essex and he got 2 big tattoos.
Tilbury tattoos in Essex.
And that tattooist's name was Harry Potter.
Ah, Harry
My
Potter.
friend's got his shop there now. He still tattoos me.
And he's called Harry Potter?
No, he's Graham Byrne. He's the guy I went to school with. Harry Potter died a few years ago, I think.
Oh.
Or he's still tattooing, but he's probably about 90. But anyway, Robert took pictures of me, gave me a few prints. I kept some of them, sold some of them when I was broke, gave some away for a shag, like you do. And then they ended up being the natural portrait galleries and the Tate Modern and stuff like that.
Of you, as you being a stereotypical out person, like out of sync, out of harm, out of balance with the world.
Oh yeah, I'm completely mental. I'm actually quite mad. I've even got the paperwork to prove it now.
I know.
But I think, in order, I think it goes hand in hand with someone like me who, had a lot of post-traumatic stress growing up. I didn't know I was smart because I hated school and hated the teachers. And I didn't know that I had sort of this creative intelligence until I met Leee. And Leee believed in me, and Leee gave me that guiding force of like, Smutty, you're a star, and you need to trust yourself and trust me. You can do anything you want. You will be very, very famous if you just listen to me.
So you did?
I did.
Yeah. And listened to him in that he wasn't around in the Maplethorpe era.
Yeah, he was.
He was around, but not.
We ended up splitting up as management, but he was always a mentor for me. He always said, Smutty, you should do this. Smutty, you should do this. I'd call him up, He introduced me to Mick Rock. Mick Rock became my best friend. I mean, Mick Rock did, my Christmas card. He did the cover of Bohemian Rhapsody. He did he did Raw Power and Transformer. He became my best friend after Leee. Mick Rock, who passed away a few years ago. I mean, he did my Christmas card. He did the first album cover for the Rockettes, live at the Ritz.
Wow.
And he was Syd Barrett's roommate at Cambridge.
Syd Barrett existed.
From Pink Floyd, because he saw Pink Floyd's first gig. He was there.
Wow.
I think they got expelled for making LSD in the chemistry class.
Mm.
Well, it's Cambridge.
Yeah. Still.
Naughty.
Yeah. Naughty.
You said you had some questions for me that you didn't know the answers for.
I didn't know the answers to lots of bass questions.
Oh, the bass ones I've solved. I still play bass. I'm in the middle of a solo album right now called No Thieves, Fakers, Rogues or Tinkers. I'm recording 2 tracks in the studio with Tim Polecat on Wednesday in a 24-track state-of-the-art studio. I'm in the middle of making a documentary about me called Smutty Smiff, the only Essex boy in Andy Warhol's factory. I'm 3/4 from my book. I have a shop, a record store, and an art gallery in London in Alphys Market. And I have a family in Iceland.
This I knew.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I think with me, it's trying to balance all those things and stay mentally stable, because I'm not mentally stable. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm bipolar 1 and 2 and I have ADHD. And I came off the bipolar meds many years ago. But I want to say to everyone that's watching this, the meds don't work.
The meds don't work, but it's good to be diagnosed. It's good.
It's good to not kill yourself, but once
Yeah.
you off, I think that those meds turn you into something. And what they did to me is they stopped me being Smutty Smiff. I became Stephen Smith, and I gave up Ziggy Stardust basically because
That's no good at all.
you don't do anything on lithium. You can't.
I
And
didn't-
so I've been
I
off
didn't
it.
know lithium was the answer for.
It's the strongest. It's one flew over the cuckoo's nest. It's what they're walking around getting off Nurse Ratchet. It's lithium. It's 1,500 milligrams. It's got salt in it. You have to have your blood checked, and also long-term use is liver damage. Also, it makes you gain weight, and it takes the pendulum like an SSRI, like a serotonin uptake inhibitor. It takes the dopamine and the serotonin, and just
Far up.
it flatlines it. So you don't have any emotions, no feelings. You don't do anything you want to do. You don't fly fish. You don't play bass. You don't have sex. You don't do nothing. You don't do fuck all. So I'll take the bad days and be mental.
But that's okay, because lots of
It's
people.
better than being a fucking Dalek, isn't
Yeah, lots of people know that and love you for it.
it?
I didn't know that you're on lithium.
Was for 3 years. You can't just come
Wow.
off it because you can have an episode. You have to go from like 15 to 1,200 for a month, and then 1,000 for a month, and then 500 for a month. It takes a long time to get off it, because if you just come off it, your brain would just fry like an egg in a frying pan.
Wow.
I worked at a homeless shelter as a care worker and a counsellor for 8 years. Once, because of my mum and my upbringing, I felt that a duty to because I wasn't, a big celebrity in Iceland, even when I had the biggest radio show. I felt this compelled to help other people, which I did.
Amazing. So, how did your mum stop doing alcohol?
I gave her an ultimatum.
She just stopped.
Oh, one day I just went down there. I forget which wife it was. I went there, probably she's probably in her 50s or 60s. She was smoking 40 cigarettes a day and drinking a couple of bottles a day. And she was a good mum when she was sober. When she wasn't, she was, she was evil, was Jekyll and Hyde. And I used to remember stepping over in the mornings, and flat out on her face on the kitchen floor, while I was trying to get my sister ready for school with no lunch and, ripped up clothes and not washed clothes. And I went home one day and she was drunk, and I just lost it. I just said, she called my wife a fat whore or a bitch. I can't remember. And I just
Which
said,
wife was this? You can't remember.
Alice, I think.
First wife.
No, first wife was Gail Higgins Smith, Lee's assistant for Heartbreakers. She was Italian and older than me. She's Linda's friend. And then I married Alice, and then I had a child with a girl named Jennifer in Seattle that died of cancer a few years ago. She was amazing. And then I met Kate. I've been with Kate 20 years now. But I remember just went to my mum one day, and she started to sober up, and I said, it was, I'd given up a lot of things myself because I did experiment. I just said, if you ever drink when I'm here again, and you ever say any of those things that you're going to say to me again, you'll never, ever, ever see me again. And so the next time I went back, she was sober.
Powerful. And then she became the best mum in the world. Nice. I do want to know which wife it was. It was Alice. That was wife number 2.
Yeah, she was a screenwriter for Fox, for David Kelly, Michelle Pfeiffer's husband. And she used to write Boston Public and all these horrible shows that I hated. But she wasn't writing the whole episode. She was called a staff writer.
She's in the room, in the writer's
like
room.
a boiler room. Yeah, and she would have
Horrible.
to punch up a script, but get 18 grand for it, just for like writing half a page even a week. But she also wrote for Pee Wee Herman show, who I liked. She was friends with Paul Rubens, who I liked. And she was also friends with Elvira. She was a friend, Cassandra. And, I know I have a lot of friends in LA, Greg Gorman, Michael Schmidt, Brian Rayburn. LA was good to me.
And you're still friends with Greg Gorman?
I'm going to fishing with him. He came to Iceland recently, and he's invited me on a very special fishing trip to Lake Castaic on a boat for bass in the beginning of September. Because when he was in Iceland, he was very sick, and I had to show him all around the country in a wheelchair, basically. But he photographed my cover of my new book, and
your new
he did the cover of my
album?
No, and I don't know if he's going to do the album or not, but he did the book cover.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, Chrissy, that being on your show, Cats and other celebrities, I like cats.
Well, you are a cat and a celebrity, so perfect for it.
I have a cat, and you do. And
no, you are a cat.
And I want to thank everyone, and please tune into the show because it's such a great show. And my friend Chrissy is amazing. And I just want to thank everybody for checking us out today, and thank you. Cheers.
And let's clink with Roger. Cats. Thank you very much, people, for tuning into Cats and Other Celebrities. And here is my inimitable guest, Smutty Smiff.
2 Fs.
2 Fs. Not Stephen Smith, because only his mother calls him that.
He lives in Basildon.
He lives in Basildon. He was the other one.
I live in Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is the other one.
Yeah.
The other.
Stephen Dennis Smith.
Not
Smutty
even
Smith.
Dennis.
Stephen Smith.
That's the one I got invited on the show of. And I thought, who is he? Who is he? Who is Stephen Smith? He can't come. Smutty's already there that day. So I made a mistake. And thank you, Smutty Smith, for coming.
Thank you. Thank the team. Great crew and Addy and just a very nice experience. Quite emotional for me.